Hello everyone, it's me Max11 and welcome back. Today we will be talking about fonts, and mainly we're going to be talking about a little bit of inline styling. Now you'll understand what I mean by inline styling soon. We will be talking about font sizes, colors, and font families. But before we get into fonts, I really want to cover comments really quickly because they're very important. So let me just show you how I set up the project. So if I open the project folder, I made a Lesson04 folder, and inside I made a comments.html and a fontstuff.html. And I opened them both in Notepad++, as you can see here, and I just pre-wrote the basic HTML document structure. As you can see, I added the HTML, I added the head, and I added the body, because just to save some time, because I'm really a slow typer. So yeah, and I opened them in Chrome right here. So as you can see, they're empty. Okay, now, so let's start. Comments first. So comments are very important when you're working in groups. Let's say you create not just in groups, it's really useful for let's say you made a website, and 1 year later someone reports a bug, and you come back to that website to fix that bug, and you're really lost in your code. You don't even know what half the stuff means, but if you have comments in there, they're like notes, they're like explanations. They're gonna help you understand your code better. The same goes if you want to send that code to your friend or someone who's in your team. For example, you're working on a website together with someone. You send the code to him, and he can read your comments, and he can understand the code better. So anyways, let's quit bragging around and talking, and let me show you how to write a comment. This is how you write comments in HTML. It's like this opening bracket or whatever, then this sign, and then 2 dashes, and the closing tag is 2 dashes and the closing bracket. And in between here you can write anything you want. For example, this is a paragraph. Did I write that correctly? Paragraph, yes I did. Now this is going to refer to the next line of code, so this is going to be a paragraph like hello world, that classical thing. Or let's be a little bit universe. Let's be original. So hello universe. And so this is going to refer to this line of code, like this is a paragraph. We can even place it in here if we wanted to. It would maybe make a lot more sense to the one who is reading this later on. So I just Control-S this, and if I open it up here, if I refresh, you can see hello universe, but it doesn't display this is a paragraph, because this is a comment. The computer will just skip this block of code because it's gonna ignore it. Only the ones who have the access to the actual code can read the comments. Anyways, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about comments really quickly. Now let's move on to fonts. So let me just explain what I meant by inline CSS and in talking about styling in general. If you recall, HTML is pretty much the skeleton of the page. It's the basic structure of the web page, and CSS lets you give the skeleton some skin, some muscles, some stuff like that. So, but it is possible to do some inline CSS. What is inline CSS? This means we can do some styling in our HTML file without really worrying about having a separate CSS file. So let me explain that a little bit clearer. We don't need to have two documents. We don't need to have a CSS document and an HTML document. We can do it all inside of a single HTML document. So we don't have to worry about having two separate files. So yeah. So if you recall, this is an opening tag, and this is the actual closing tag. So let me just write something in again, like hello, smiley face. So we have an opening and closing paragraph tag, and we have some content in here. Now, we can give them more instructions by including what's called an attribute in the opening tag. So here we can include some kind of attribute. So what is an attribute? It's simply a characteristic or some kind of description, some kind of explanation for the content in the element. So you're explaining to the computer what kind of characteristics this content is going to have. For example, I can say color red. So this text is then going to be red, or blue, or green, or yellow, whatever. So let me explain again. We have the tag name. In this case, it's header 1 or heading 1. But in our case, in the example, we have a paragraph, so P. Then we have the attribute's name. Here it's class, but over there, for example, if we use the link, it would be href or src. And then we have the attribute value. Here it's primary, but over there the attribute value, for example, for a link would be a link to some web page. For an image, for example, the href value would be some location of the image somewhere on the internet. So this whole thing makes up an opening tag. And then we have the affected content. In this case, it's hello world. And then we have the ending tag or the closing tag. And this whole thing makes up an HTML element. So now you know, and now we can continue watching. So you pretty much already saw a couple of attributes. Let me just give you some examples. Image src, and then you write some links or something. Then we also saw the href attribute, and then you add another link or something. So these are all attributes. So this is an attribute name, and this is the attribute value, and this whole thing makes up an attribute, and they're always placed in the opening tags. So yeah, let's change the size of this text. For example, let's change the size of hello. So we will use the style attribute for this. Whoops, wait, yeah, we're going to use the style attribute. So we're going to set the style equal to the font size value, and then we're going to add in, for example, 5 pixels. Now if I save this and I refresh, you can see it's really tiny. You would have to zoom in the page to actually see it. Now we can change this, make it, let's say, 25 pixels. If I refresh now, it's really huge. Then we can make it, for example, 55 pixels. It's going to be really huge now. Ooh, really huge. Then, what else can we do? Well, we can, that's pretty much all there is to size, really. We're going to be using pixels most of the time for our projects. So let me just shorten this a bit, make it smaller. Let's create another one. And let's use another style attribute. This time, let's say color red, or actually purple. And let's say, oops, I am purple. As you can see, we have a purple paragraph, and we can make him, we can add more of these things inside of a single one. So let's say I can make this 55 pixels, then I can add this. Oops, no wait, it's actually this. It's a colon. Yep, I am purple and I'm big. What else can we add? We can add a font family. as well. So we can use the style attribute once again and say font family, and we can say what can we use? For example, impact. We can add a color. I like to make a space here so that I can see. We can add a color blue, and we can add a font size. We can add a font size of 10 pixels, and now finally the text is gonna be hey. If I save that and I reload, you can see, hey, right here it's blue, it's small, and it's a different font family. It's impact this time, so it's using an impact. So awesome, now you have control over your web page, including the color, size, and type of your font. So yeah, to recap, we use the style attribute in the opening tag, and we can change the font size, we can change the font color, and we can change the font family. And if you want, you can use this not just for paragraphs, you can use it for headings, you can use it for links even, all kinds of stuff. So let me just show you how it would, oops, I forgot it was supposed to be, let's say, head 1. Here it goes, you can see. And I can once again change the size to 65, for example. I'm really making these things strange. Okay, so that's it for this lesson, guys. Hope you had fun with this. You can play around, and in the next tutorial we will learn more stuff about background color, adding text, aligning text, strong words, emphasized words, all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned and see you next time. Bye.